The Dr. Lewis Condit House, located at 51 South Street, is a short distance from Morristown's historic green. The house sits on a lot that is narrow at the east end along South Street and doubles in width to the west. The east and south edges of the site border South Street and Community Place, respectively. The house has a larger setback from the street than other buildings along the streetscape, with a small front yard enclosed by a picket fence. A prime example of Georgian and Federal-style architecture that gained popularity among wealthier residents in the United States by the end of the 18th century, the Condit House was constructed in 1797 by Dr. Lewis Condit, a prominent citizen of Morristown, a physician with a successful medical practice, as well as a significant local and state politician. The house is considered one of the better examples of late 18th century architecture in Morristown, and today reflects the different uses it has accommodated throughout its various periods of ownership. The house has historical and architectural significance for its association with Dr. Lewis Condit, as well as the Women's Club of Morristown, and for its architecture. The architecture of the Condit House displays many features of the Georgian style, which was popular prior to the American Revolution, as well as several variations that are specifically typical of the Federal style, which gained popularity after the American Revolution and around the time of the house's construction. The east section of the building is the oldest, and its facade acts as the formal facade of the house common in Georgian homes, where the front porch was used to display wealth, while the sides and rear were less likely to feature decorative detailing. Dr. Condit used the house for his residence and the home of his practice, and after his death continued to be used for residential purposes until the early 20th century, when it became the headquarters of the Red Cross and was put into use during World War I. The house continued its new role as a community center after the war, when the Women's Town Improvement Committee suggested using the house as a recreation center. It then became known as the Community Club. In 1920, the name was changed to the Women's Civic Association, and by 1930 became the Women's Club of Morristown. Since that time, the house has consistently acted as a community center, a base for community outreach and public service, and reflects the history of Morristown over the decades. The Women's Club has been excellent stewards of the Dr. Lewis Condit House, where today it serves as their headquarters, as well as rented to local small practices